Yeah. I mean, I've made a lot of attempts to change settings, and no changes do anything. The passage of time seems to fix it. So I think it's just slow to finish, loading and getting everything established.
We were explorers.
Twitch volume was blowing me away. I forgot I still had it turned on from the Rift stream yesterday.
I remembered all my spamming today. I think I put a picture of Do Not Disturb in the tweet, but that's okay.
Yeah. Do you have your Twitch on, Diva?
Yep.
Can you hear us over the Twitch?
It's still loading.
Okay.
Yep.
So you can hear me and you can hear you, and Marla hasn't said anything?
Yeah, I hear reverb.
Oh yeah, I'm still here, sorry,
Yeah, reverb.
Both of us. Can you see if she can, if she heard Marley?
Yeah, I'll see.
Before we get started, though, I do just want to say that the AK-47 is the most badass piece of wall art I've ever seen.
And I agree.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, figured it was kind of essential to have at least one AK-47 in that place.
Yeah.
I think it's gone.
Okay. Well, I know he was really loud coming through through me. I turned him way down, so hopefully now he should be just about right. Yes, that definitely helped.
Good.
Alright, and by my watch, it is 11 o'clock PST, so it is time to get started. Hello everyone, this is Fiendish with the Dimension Touring Company, and I'm here today with Dimension Diva and Marlynielle at Faeblight. I hope I didn't butcher that too badly, Marley.
No, it sounds perfect to me.
Okay. We're starting out in his guild dimension, the world is Explode, but before we get started, we've got news and contest information to share. As far as news goes, 3.1 landed Wednesday. Numerous bugs have been reported, the biggest being Harrow Crypt Dimension being cut off down in both the tunnel and the whole outer boundary being shrunk considerably. It was reported on the forums that this was the way that Harrow Crypt was originally intended to be released. However, those changes are going to be reversed with the hotfix on Wednesday. So for those of us that have built everything down in the cave, we should get our dimensions back next week. And for contest information, I'm going to turn it over to Diva. Diva?
Sorry. Still getting reverb.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was talking. I think we can deal with it and proceed.
So as far as contests go, I've been talking to a couple of Dimension nerds who will have to remain nameless right now, but they've both talked about contests that they are planning for the future. So even though I don't have any details for you today, that's something to be looking forward to coming up pretty soon. And of course then the animal morphing contest is coming to a close. In fact, we have 12 hours, 55 minutes, and 30 seconds to go until the deadline. And I'm just about to go crazy waiting to see everybody's morphs. So that's it for right now for contests.
Alright, well then without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. And first on the list is called The World Does Explode by Talion at Faeblight. And this is a guild dimension. And it starts out far above the actual Stoneflask Tavern. And the room here is pretty innocent enough until you get to this piece of wall art right here. And I already told Marley that the AK-47 is one of the, well, it is the most badass piece of wall art I've probably ever seen. And you start to get the idea in here that everything is not right with what you might find outside. And here goes another AK. Obviously a sniper setup to shoot down below. And what was the inspiration behind this one, Marley?
Well, really, I've been playing a lot of Just Cause, and there's a lot of explosions in that game, and I was kind of thinking when I was over here, you know, there's not enough stuff that kind of like blows up and gets destroyed in this game, so I'm going to make something that's just completely and utterly devastated.
Well, this is a good example of complete and utterly devastated.
I mean, originally I wanted it to do it so it was more like it was hit with a nuclear bomb, but then I realised that there would be no buildings left and it would kind of be rather boring. And so then when I looked through a lot of photographs of war zones and that, whether it be the Second World War, Vietnam, Syria, Iraq, or whatever. And it seemed like the photos from Iraq and that, they're the ones that you could see the most details in it where it wasn't complete devastation, but the buildings were kind of just sort of like half chewed away and like holes all over the place.
Oh yeah. I definitely could well, I'm not going to say I recognize the city, but I recognize places like it. I mean, as far as the detailing goes with the city itself, it's extraordinarily well done and very, very close to accurate. But there's just so much attention to detail in here with the holes in the walls, the whole facades that you've done. We've got a helicopter crashed into this building up here.
Could well have been shot down by the minigun on that truck over there.
It could have, and this whole area is just a scene of destruction. You made liberal use of the dead rogues from Autumn Harvest.
They're just such a convenient item.
Yes, they are. And I like the way that you simulate the blood and the guts here with the tied sacks and the strawberries or not the strawberries, the mushrooms and the pustule pieces for the brains. Such as this one right here with his RPG.
I love that. I think it's so hard to create this destruction and rubble and chaos and all the action, turmoil. It's uncommon to see that in a lot of dimensions. I think it's just great.
And have you
I
had...
wouldn't say it's so much as hard as extremely time-consuming, just sort of there for ages, copy-pasting loads and loads of cubes and rotating them a slight little bit and jiggling them around so they look right.
Have you had too many issues in here with the visual effects?
Not really. I mean, there are times when it doesn't matter what dimension I pulse in, so I'll pulse in and all the lights are off, or my 2 AM daytime is reset to midday and it's sunny when it should be dark and that, but normally a relog fix, so it's just, it's no difference to a white face glitch, really. Irritating, but not much can do about it.
Yes. We just passed the market where you can, because every good market has places where you can buy your weapons.
I think the fire sky in here just does so much to add to the look that you're going for, too. That was a brilliant choice.
Yeah, in a way it kind of gives the effect of the rest of the city is on fire, even though you can't really see it because I wasn't able to build out that far.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and we're here at the truck now. Did you use any particular model as the basis for this truck?
Not as such, it's more just, whenever I look on the news, there's always some bunch of terrorists driving around in a pickup truck with a 50 caliber minigun on the back, shooting at helicopters and screaming. So I figured I'd have the truck there with all the little dudes on the back being bones of bits.
We've got...
Rowley says it's all gruesome and she loves it.
here we've got some mausoleums lined up in a really good item frugal version of a palace. I really like
It's
the
convenient
mausoleums.
that I only needed a facade.
Yeah, and the mausoleums they're so pretty. I wish we could have that facade has its own building block.
That would be nice.
Hmm. Especially if it kept the door in the middle as well.
Yeah.
Windows, the doorways I could do with that would just be amazing.
Oh, and here we are. It's not a good whatever's going on here without public executions. This place is so sprawled out. So, how high above the tavern would you say that you are?
We're very high. Basically, I put the start point on top of, well, it's the second highest peak in here. Because obviously I didn't want to put the start point on top of something where it was hollow, because otherwise people just keep falling through.
Yeah, and I mean, there's almost, well, the fire sky helps to disguise any of the natural features that were already here, but there's like no sign of the base dimension of Stoneflash Tavern here. So this is an awesome transformation, on top of being just a really great scene. I'm in the back corner now where the brown brick building is. I was going to RP walk through here, but I'm too impatient for that today.
Yeah, it takes a little while.
Yes.
Yeah, Squirrel or Faeblight Rider recommended.
Your camera view is looking just fine for Twitch. So run away.
Yay.
I have to admit that when I came in here I was kind of so shocked by just how unique this is that I didn't even look that it was Stone Flask, and then I had another moment of shock when I saw you'd use Stone Flask to create this. Just such a brilliant transformation.
I'm on the road. Well, I'm coming back from the road out of town. And I really like how some of the facades are intact, like this big building here. And it really contrasts and makes much more striking the ones that got damaged.
Yeah, I think this one was just lucky because I was starting to run out of items and it just been too much to actually break it. So yeah, that building got a stay of execution.
But there's one more area that we've got to go, and that would be this bunker back here. Which the first time I was here, I hunted for this thing forever before I found it.
I did actually give away a few items in 1 to 29 chat, just sort of mainly sort of as a cynical ploy to get +1s. But yeah, I was saying, if you can find me in this dimension, I'll give you a dimension key or 20 plat or whatever.
Oh, well, that's nice.
That's creative.
And we're inside the bunker now. And you were one of the first people that I saw that started using the PvP banners as a means to teleport within a dimension as opposed to just using them to make PvP dimensions out of.
It's just one of those things that I had to try, because basically when I did that other guild dimension that was for PvP specifically, I'd actually bought some PvP start points, and then I had them kind of given back to me because the guy I was doing it for also bought PvP start points. I was just like, I wonder if this will work.
More people are using them that way now.
Oh, definitely.
I really like it.
It adds a whole lot of interaction that you otherwise just don't get. And we're in here now looking at this control panel, which is really, really very well done. I love the way that you took the map off the map table and put it on the wall here. And that way the little diamonds that are on it look like they're actually target points or something.
And your radar screen.
Gauges and buttons and dials and levers and all kinds of stuff.
Just fantastic. The people in chat are oohing and awing about these panels too.
And I'm back outside. Yeah, the level detail in here is really awesome, even on the areas that just add context and don't really, might not be considered pertinent to the build itself, like these pipes back here, the bullet holes in the walls, the trash on the ground. All this stuff combines to just make some really nice attention to detail.
Times I do just wish I could put a lot more in. It's like I find I just kind of, rather than making super detailed rubble or whatever, it's like I get an impression of rubble and then I kind of build the whole place at once, if that makes sense. Sort of adding a little bit more detail each time I run around until I run out of items.
Did we already find the suicide bomber?
I'm not sure, possibly.
I missed that. I always love that guy.
I might have missed him.
He got taken out before he could detonate.
Oh, let me try to remember where he was at.
He's on a sidewalk.
Yeah, he's not far from the bunker, I don't think.
I'm bouncing up and down by him at the moment.
There he is.
Follow the bouncing Marley.
That's why suicide bombing doesn't pay.
Oh, well, at least the guy in the window got lucky that time, eh?
Yep, before he got taken out.
Yeah.
And let me tell you how many times I tried to get up on this balcony, too. I don't have a jump master, and I really tried to get up on all of the rooftops and the balconies, and I couldn't do it. So kudos on that.
Deb, if you come to where I am, it's quite easy to get up.
Okay, here we are up here. And this is a good spot to get a good overview of, well, if I don't fall.
Now showing Marley's jump puzzle. I knew there was somebody up there missing those brains.
Well, that's one of the things that I like about this one too, is there's brains and bits and pieces pretty much all over the place to go with the trash on the ground and everything else that's going on in here. The bombed out shell here.
That's just amazing.
And the next,
I really like the orange Bravane light posts add to it as far as atmosphere and light. I think they work really well here.
I agree.
The silly thing is, though, I mean, the auction house is absolutely flooded with those things, but when I was actually building this place, there was never any up there.
Of course.
I was having to use all my alts on my second account and ship them off to other shards and bring them in from over there. It's quite fun.
This is a must-see dimension.
Yes, it is. But then I'm pretty much of the opinion that all of Marley's are must-see dimensions.
I share that opinion.
Yeah, and it's been that way ever since I saw Mind the Gap, which is on Zaviel.
I was just telling Marley before we went live with the Roadshow that same thing. That was the first kind of, really different theme that I had seen, and it was just so inspiring to me.
I think a lot of my love of urban builds comes from, before I got into MMOs, I used to play a lot of Grand Theft Auto and any sort of game like that. So in a way, I almost feel lost when I'm in these games and there is no sort of big urban environments.
I think we could stay in here all day and find new details that we hadn't noticed.
Yes, but there were more on the list. You have, what is it, 5 or 6 dimensions just on Faeblight?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3 on Marley, 1 plus. Yeah, 6 on this one.
And then another, 5 or 6 more on Xaviel EU as well.
Yeah. I think it's 5 on Xaviel, but 6 if you count one that's on an old that I'll never tell anyone about, because it's just not really much to write home about.
Okay, well,
So Marley, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Fiendish.
I was just going to say that I've headed out of that one, and I've headed to Marlston Close.
Oh, great.
But go ahead, Diva.
What I started to say is, Marley, you had told me that you kind of think of Xaviel as your test lab, or something like, you worded it something like that.
Yeah, it's where I did all my initial dimension experiments and that. So yeah, it's my little laboratory. I built the prototypes there, and then I'm doing them over here now.
Okay, well, I'm not going to click a PvP banner because I'm only level 10 and I don't want to die. So we're going to start out at the hole. The very fearsome looking bouncer. And one thing that I notice with a lot of your builds is you have a fondness for the low-hanging fruit and making bead doors. Oh wow, we've got tentacles in here.
They seem to work quite well as like those sort of slow-moving light beams.
Now I don't have my game sound turned on to be able to hear the jig ball music. I do recognize these speakers though from an early dimension that you did on that Xaviel. I think this might be slightly modified.
It is the same set, but the one on Xavier I actually copied it twice, so as it just made one massive, huge stack of speakers. But here I figured I'd only use half of it, so as to use the items elsewhere.
There's that guy Nico again. He really gets around.
Yeah, I hope he's won a few awards.
Yeah. I love the details in here as well with things like these bar taps. The tables, the chair setup. Definitely has that underground club feel. But now that we've hung out at the bar, gotten chased out by the bouncer, so what was the inspiration behind this one?
really sure, to be honest. It's just I wanted another urban build. It's the first place I built on Faeblight, and I figured I wanted somewhere that was kind of big, had like a house for a character to live in, had a couple of places for people to go out and sort of enjoy themselves, maybe a hotel for people to crash in when they were too drunk to go home, and thus I made this place.
Well, this is great. Your cities are always just so well done. I have the trash heaps there, and still more clutter on the ground. And Edge of Infinity is really just such a great dimension to use for a build like this, just because of the way it's laid out. Oh, somebody's going to have to pay some extra money.
Question is though, would the hotel manager really want to confront me?
I don't know. And that's a great way to make hotel rooms, which are usually always the same, a great way to make them different from each other and distinct. I wouldn't want to be in the room next to that one once the party really got started. Unless, of course, I was invited to the party, and then that'd be a different story.
Well, I guess you've had a good night if you wake up in a hotel room that's completely and utterly trashed and soaked with beer.
Yep.
Louvinette was commenting that the cleaning lady is going to have a lot of extra work.
Oh, well, I guess it gives her something to do.
And another thing that I like about your cities is that you always add some kind of context outside your boundary area, like row houses or high rises or apartment buildings or what have you. There's always something there, so that it's not just the area that you're showing. That you always do so well at presenting the illusion that there's actually more to see on the other side of this bridge or wherever. This bar is way more my speed. You don't see Marlynielle Torsen as a bartender very often.
I like using her because, well, everyone has Miko, so it's like, yeah, give a barmaid instead of a barman for a change.
Yep.
I think she works a shift at the Queen's Legs, too.
Mm-hmm.
I just want
And
to
that's mainly because I've just been too lazy farming artifacts to actually be able to buy more Nikos.
Well, the little neighborhood place is much more my speed.
I can imagine that being quite a nice place on, say, a Sunday afternoon or whatever, sitting out the back and enjoying a nice cold beer for a few hours.
Yeah. I'm in the park now. Looks like we've got some renovations going on at this building.
Yeah, I love the scaffolding. And again, you have trash here and there. You have manhole covers, just so many great details.
I'm in the apartments now. And don't take this the wrong way, please, Marla, but for a guy, you do houses really well.
Oh, thank you.
Your furnishings are always so nice and well done, and they're always really luxurious places.
I do love working with interiors in real life as well.
Well, I think that eye for detail that gives you really helps you a lot here, too.
I mean, I don't watch a lot of television these days, but back in the days when I was watching a lot more of it, I'd watch a hell of a lot of home improvement programs like House Doctor and what's it, 30-minute makeovers and all the rest of it, where they just sort of take a complete shithole and turn it into something really lovely.
Oh, wow.
This bedroom is amazing.
Yes, it is. And these bathrooms that you do. I can't pull my usual shenanigans like I do when Diva's the one running the stream, where I would just be sleeping on your bed and sitting in your tub all day.
Yeah, I must admit, there's been a few times. Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, yeah, there's been a few times I've ported into my dimensions to just sort of AFK while I go and make a cup of tea or whatever, and I have actually found people in my hot tubs or in my beds.
That doesn't surprise me a bit. But those are always nice surprises, aren't they? To port in and actually find someone in there?
Oh, yes, indeed. Now, if I see someone's in there, I usually just sort of make a blushing apology and just port to another place.
This is another great little city snapshot, intact this time. And as
Another must-see.
yeah, and as usual, very, very, very little of the base dimension can actually be seen here. And this is the way you can so easily transform Edge of Infinity. Is one of the reasons I actually really like it. Well, that, and it's on the axis. That always helps.
And it's big.
Yes.
Lots of space and also a good item count.
Yeah.
Generally, if I do a build, I don't tend to use anything smaller. And I mean, I did the one in Fort Zarnos, and that is the first small build I've done in a long time.
Does it make you think about item count more? It seems like it helps me kind of remember, don't be greedy, don't waste items when I do these little ones every now and then.
I guess so. It's like, the way I work with the item count is I try and get the main sort of layout and where the buildings are going to be done first, and then if there's any specific pieces that absolutely have to be in the dimension without question, like the Mermaid Fountain in Do Not Disturb, or the nightclub in here, then that will be fleshed out, and then I'll start doing the other things, and eventually there'll be something resembling completion.
Very good item management.
Yeah, especially over this kind of space.
When it comes to really high item count things, like the elf picture on my wall, that I built in a separate dimension and then copied across the dimension zones just so as I could be sure that it would actually fit.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. I use Anywhere a lot as a testing place, or a place to do a pre-build, because it's flat and there's no distractions. I mean, you can build what you need to build, and you don't pay attention to whatever it is that might be poking out or isn't quite perfect, so you get distracted.
I don't think I've actually gotten anywhere on this server yet.
I keep making wrong turns out of the kitchen and going into the little pantry. Here we go for our last shot of this. Here we go for our last shot of this great bedroom. Love this vanity. Then our next...
That whole bedroom's killer.
Yes, it is. And the next dimension on our list is the Queen's Legs. Open. And I just said that with a straight face. I am going to meridian in between, back and forth between each dimension, just because with the entry points they tend to, when you hop from dimension to dimension, that's be when you really notice that you have a lot of problems with them.
It shouldn't be too much of an issue in Queen's Legs though, because I did actually start it off on top of the wall.
But here we are, and what was the inspiration for this one?
I just wanted a pub that looked like a pub, really. You know, look like anywhere that you might sort of wander in when you're out and about in a daily business looking for somewhere to get a bite to eat or quick drink.
I love that lit cigarette right under the no smoking sign.
Well, maybe not nowadays since they completely and utterly outlawed smoking, but most kind of pubs around where I am, people don't pay a blind bit of notice to those signs.
Again, the details in here are just fantastic. Using the fog for the smoky. You know, almost imagine that you smell the spilled beer, the gun behind the bar.
Yeah, I love that it's not all neat and tidy.
The beer and wine signs have always been one of my favorite things in here. Oh, we don't want to go down there just yet.
Raleigh says it looks just like a real pub.
We're going to throw some darts.
Brilliant.
And the little slot machine is great.
So detailed.
I mean, even the bathrooms are detailed with the soap dispensers and the hot and cold water taps. The graffiti on the wall, Marley was here.
Cracks me up every time.
The men's room stall with the with the drugs on the back of the toilet. And oh, that guy, he must have had too much to drink.
I love the drip line that you put in this too. So awesome.
Before we go upstairs, let's go ahead and go downstairs. Oh, we got a boxing ring down here. I'm going to guess that these are probably illegal fights.
Kind of, but it's also more because the person who owns this pub, she doesn't allow fighting in the bar. If people have a disagreement, she tells them, take it downstairs. If needs be, she'll shove them down there at gunpoint to fight it out.
Hey, whatever works.
It's mainly to keep the atmosphere in the bar friendly, but if people want to have a bit of combat RP, they can go downstairs and beat crap out of each other in the cellar.
I love the backstories that you have, Marley. And, you know, I'm not always very surprised when you tell me the details, because you have the details in the dimensions, like the gore that's on the floor in the boxing ring, and, well, the gun behind the counter in the bar. It's really great.
Now we're in the landlady's apartment. And just more of this really, really great detail. The busted panes in the kitchen window are just I mean, it's a great idea.
And that was another great use of the PvP flag, again, to enter this area of the upstairs. I like that.
Another fantastic bed. And the air freshener on the back of the toilets always cracks me up.
Oh, you had to take your turn in the bathtub.
Yes, I did. I couldn't resist. And these rugs on the walls are just so awesome here as wallpaper. And they really just help it set the scene, or make the context.
Oh yeah, it's perfect.
And if you're wondering where these places actually are, if in relation to the Riftbold, generally I say that my builds are in the grey areas of the map. This would probably be somewhere in the back streets of Tempest Bay where you can see it on the map, but you can't actually get to it.
That's a great description. And do you get a lot of RP in this one?
At times, yes. It's not always me doing it, though. I have come in at times and there will be just people enjoying a drink and a chatting in the bar or whatever.
Well, that's good. I know you used to RP. Do you still participate in RP?
I do occasionally, yes, but at the moment, with it being the new expansion, I'm just frantically working on getting as much money and gear as I possibly can. Partly so I can tackle the Chronicle, but also because I really want a big budget.
Yeah. Well, they finally gave us the black squirrel, so I'm happy now, mount-wise.
Oh yes, I have to say I bought that within about a second of seeing it on the store.
Yeah, I didn't even have to think about it.
I mean, I had to double check. I saw the squirrel and I thought, oh, great, another bloody lockbox. And I was like, hang on, that's actually a squirrel.
Yeah, and they have the obsidian keyring up for sale now, I think. But I bought it the last time it went up.
I'm not so keen on the key rings myself. I just find they're a little bit too tall. But yeah, if I see another squirrel up or the pink budgie, that will be warp instantly.
Yeah.
It's the only squirrel I need now, apart from the unstable artifact ones, is the white squirrel.
Fiendish, do you think we have time to pop into another one of Marley's?
Yep. We're already planning on going to Infinitely Yours, which is one of his newer dimensions.
Oh, great.
And this is another Edge of Infinity. And without my UI up, I have no idea where I'm at. Which is actually one of the best things about Marley's Dimensions. When you turn that UI off, you're totally immersed in what he's showing.
Very, very true.
And what is the story behind this one?
This one hasn't got so much of a story yet, but it's going to it's going to be more getting a story as it goes along. At the moment, it's just basically Mal bought the tavern up the top, really cheap at an auction. But then she saw the ruined cottage next door, and she was like, "Nah, screw this old tavern. I'm having that house next door," and renovated it.
Okay.
But yeah, there is multiple purposes in here. I mean, I included a wedding chapel because there seems to be lots of people that get married on this service. So yeah, I figured I might as well to get married in.
Well, I think perhaps the RP environment might contribute to that.
Oh yes, very much so.
I love the stream that you morphed here.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You don't do environmental builds very often, but your environmental builds are just as awesome as the cityscapes and building block transformations that you like to do. Oh, denied by an invisible tile or the boundary?
Yeah, that'd be the invisible tile, because it just, in this dimension, it doesn't let you really put stuff very far outside of the bottom at all. It's kind of like...
No, it doesn't. That's one of the only downsides to it.
And it's not so much that I want to build outside the bowl, more that I find when the shape of the dimension comes together, to be able to close things off and give it that convincing appearance, I do need to put a few things outside.
And there's that guy Nico again. And barbecue.
That barbecue's awesome.
I love this bridge that you made, contouring planks off the necropolis arches. And when they removed the benches from the chapel, did that have any effect on how you used the chapel?
No, because it was all built when the benches are still there, so I just built the platform over it, and I figured there's no point changing it now.
Yep.
So I'd have to rejig a bunch of stuff.
Well, it's a very, very pretty chapel. Very, very pink. I haven't seen you use a lot of the mermaid statues. Have you not worked on fishing, or just don't have any desire to use them?
I think my fishing's probably still about 150. I just don't have the patience or the time really to sit there doing it when I could be doing something that brings me a lot more money and then just buy the items.
Fair enough. Well, here we are at the cottage itself. And what a lovely exterior it is. It definitely has a cottage look to it, even though it's pretty good sized. And you've gotten you do a lot of these tables that are just like glass, except for you set everything level on no surface.
It depends. Sometimes I leave it with no surface, but in Do Not Disturb, I actually used invisible tiles just because the ceiling was higher in there and I didn't want people jumping on and falling through. I mean, if the ceiling's low enough that you can't actually jump on it, then when I'm actually building the table, I put a random rectangle down, so as I just lay everything on that and then remove the rectangle and everything's floating in place.
Okay. Great view outside these windows and looking in. This furniture in here is spectacular. And this wall art is really, really nice.
Yes, I just love the wall art too. A great room.
It certainly serves its purpose as a nice place to come and sit after a long day of bashing things over the head.
There you go, Diva. There's your squirrel.
Yes, I know. I've seen this many times. My mouth is hanging open. I love it.
And another fantastic bedroom. So much great detail in this little house.
Somehow I had missed noticing the gun cabinet until this visit.
I think it's always been there.
Uh-oh. Oh, approaching it looked like one of the pink trees was on fire.
No, not yet. They probably will be at some point, though.
It's the trash heap out here.
People in chat are complimenting you. They love the pretty cottage.
I'm still admiring the river here. I really enjoy it when I see people make moving water.
Well, the person I spend a lot of the time in RP with, she really likes a lot of water in places, so that's why there is all the streams and waterfalls and that, because she's like, I'd love to see a place with loads of water, so yeah.
Well, this whole transformation is so beautiful and so well done.
I just wanted to say, since I used a photo of, a screenshot of Do Not Disturb when I sent out the tweet for today's Roadshow, that if you guys have seen Marley's signature on the forums, I think, Marley, you have your elf painting that is in Do Not Disturb. You use that as your avatar too, don't you?
I did. I've changed that now. At the moment, it's actually Professor Genki from Saints Row, but I could change it back again in a bit.
Okay, but I just wanted to tell people that I know I even talked to somebody about that elf picture, that's in Do Not Disturb, in case anybody didn't know. Which is another beautiful dimension.
Yes, it is. And it's another very, very luxurious townhouse, apartment, condo type place that's set in Forzarnos Beach, and it's very just beautifully well done.
Yeah, I think I worked it out as being roughly on the 10th floor, that one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, your views out of all those windows do make you feel like you're very, very high up.
Yeah, I've had that dimension on my list for so long. I've just been struggling with just what the hell to do with it, because I knew I wanted to actually keep the dimension visible, so I actually love Ember Isle. But yeah, it's like I was thinking, a seaside bar or a beach house or whatever, but there seems to be a lot of beach houses already, so I figured, build up high somewhere. Kind of make another version of exclusive.
Well, your use of it was very good and original by lifting everything up, because you're right, there are just tons of beach houses in that Fort Zarnos dimension. But I agree with you as well that Ember Isle is just an awesome zone.
I mean, I love the dormant core dimension as well, but it makes me sad that for some reason they got rid of the volcano from the backdrop.
Yeah. Oh, we've managed to run over by almost 15 minutes. So thank you very much, Marley, for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for showing us your excellent dimensions.
Must-see dimensions.
Yes, and not just the ones on Faeblight, but the ones on Xaviel as well. He might call those a testing lab, but all of those are also just must-see. Especially Mind the Gap, Project Zeta, oh boy, Exclusive, I can't even list them all, but they're all must-see dimensions from a long-time builder who's now on the North American shards, which is cool because it takes me like 5 seconds less to click on your dimensions.
Yes, thank you so much, Marley. It was a total pleasure.
Yes, it was nice to meet you.
And thank you for everyone that tuned in today. We will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.